Hi, and welcome to Across the Desk. 15 years of conservative Republican control in Oklahoma. And what I mean is the statewide offices in Oklahoma have been held by Republicans for pretty much 15 years, as well as the legislature, the House and the Senate, has been in Republican conservative control. What have we gotten for that control over the last 15 years? Well, it seems like we're on the bottom of many lists. "15 years of conservative Republican rule here in Oklahoma. And I think that's probably about long enough for them to go through their failed experiment, because they're failing miserably in so many sectors and so many metrics on so many places. First, we can start with, this is one of 3 worst states to live in. By statistics, Oklahoma is one of the worst places you can live. It absolutely is, and there's many reasons why. Many reasons, and there's a whole list. There's not just a whole list, there's other areas in the list, and the list of other areas. Oklahoma is not doing that well, and it's mostly because of 15 years of conservative control. That's what we got, and a lot of this that you will see is absolutely directly because of conservative policies in the state of Oklahoma. First up, this is one of the highest poverty rated states in the nation. We have one of the highest poverty rates. Oklahoma is the 9th highest poverty rate in the United States. That's top 10, all right, for Kevin Stitt keeping score. He wants to be top 10 of everything. And for conservatives, I guess top 10 means just how much we can abuse our citizens, because that's what this is. We have the lowest GDP. And this is amazing because we're an energy state. We have oil here and gas, and we're trying to do other stuff too with electric and battery and everything else. But you have some people in the industries, the most important industry, if you look at the Petroleum Alliance people who put out their Facebook saying all the time that, you know, the petroleum industry is the most important industry in Oklahoma. The petroleum workers are the most important workers. They absolutely believe in a tiered constitutional system. Brock, I think that's his name. He's the guy, the president and CEO who runs the Petroleum Alliance of Oklahoma. And he's always putting out something about how they're the most important industry. Well, you know, for the most important industry, you sure guys do suck. And I'm just going to say, because, hey, we have the lowest GDP in the nation. 9th lowest GDP in the nation. That's horrible. We treat our workers like crap. There's no protections. It's a right to work state. You can get fired for just wearing the wrong color shoes. Seriously. That could be a reason. Your shoes, you didn't tie them, and we got to be safe. So you got to go. You can do that here in Oklahoma. I don't even have to give you a reason. I don't have to tell you. That's Oklahoma for you. So yeah, we've been able to suppress wages by union busting, right to work, and taking away people's benefits, making sure that companies and the most important industry gets all the benefits and gets all the say, because they believe in a tiered system. They get all the rights and freedoms, and you pretty much will get whatever we decide to throw crumbs off the table for you at. That's where we're at in Oklahoma. Yeah, one of the lowest GDP states in Oklahoma. There's no money here. That's why people don't want to come here, because there's no money here. You want to go where the money is, and it's not in Oklahoma, because see, fat cats from Texas on the south end of the border, they pretty much have got all the oil, and our representatives, I can't tell you how many times Inhofe flew down to Houston to talk to his moneyed interest down there. As a matter of fact, he got in trouble because he landed on the wrong runway in Houston once to meet those moneyed interests. He didn't represent Oklahoma. He represented the moneyed oiled interest in Texas, just like James Lankford does, who is from, hey, Texas. Yeah, just same thing with Mark Wayne Mullen, who is definitely in the till of the oil industry from Texas. So that's who they represent, and that's what we got right here. Moving on, because we've got some more to talk about, and I'm already 6-7 minutes in. So with the next one, and this is the big one. This is absolutely number 50 on the list, the worst state for women. It's absolutely the worst state for women. When you have an abortion bounty law that goes against women, there you go. There's exhibit 1 right there. the abortion bounty on women. Not only that, Oklahoma has the highest, 50 in the nation, largest wage gap. Again, here you go, that GDP thing again, and the most important industry, not taking care of the women, not doing it at all. As a matter of fact, we are one of the highest states for abuse to women in the nation. That's one of the other reasons why it's one of the worst states. Not only that, we have horrible health care for women. The reproductive health care is almost non-existent. OGBYNs are scared to come to Oklahoma because some conservative lawmaker may want to have them arrested and fined hundreds of thousands of dollars. So, see, the GOP in Oklahoma have made it just as dangerous for women to live here. More women are killed by their partners in Oklahoma than almost anywhere else. Yeah, it's dangerous for women in this state. You know, it's dangerous for anyone in this state. And we'll get to that, but going down with the women, you know, we have one of the highest birth mortality rates. We have the worst education opportunities for women in this state. And we have reproductive rights, one of the fewest reproductive rights for women, and that even includes contraception. We also have one of the worst child care systems. So single mothers, women that have a kid, forced to have a kid in this state because of our abortion laws, that don't have a dad and they have to take care of it all by themselves, there's no child care provision. There's nothing there for them. So there you go. And it's all about one issue: power and control. Because I don't know, I'm from Oklahoma, and I'm not like your typical Oklahoman, I guess. Most Oklahomans are, you know, they're rednecky. They're kind of fat and slobby and sloven. And so, yeah, who wants to date that? So when it comes to power and control of women, you can almost see why they pine for that. And why it would be one of the worst states for women. Because power and control. And that's what it's all about. Especially with conservatives. It's about controlling the women. That's why these other states, like I said in the first episode of the season, they want to control their women. They see them as property in a lot of ways. Now, hey, we have an A.G. Drummond here who hasn't signed on to that letter. I really don't know where his stances are. I know he's anti-abortion and everything else. But when you see the conservative policies, and when they're implemented, this is what you get. One of the worst states for women. One of the worst states, this is one of the worst states for raising a family. This is what conservative policies have gotten us over the last 15 years. The worst state for raising kids, one of the worst states for having a family. And it has to do with health care access. Now, one of the things we did in Oklahoma was we expanded Medicaid by initiative petition. Because, see, the conservatives that control the state through gerrymandering were never going to pass anything to expand Medicaid. So the citizens did it. And they still tried to take it away from us when Kevin Stitt tried to privatize it and send it to some goons in Kansas to fleece us out of hundreds of millions of dollars. It was going to cost hundreds of millions more to implement the way Kevin Stitt wanted to do it. We're going to lose so much. That didn't happen. Think anything that didn't happen. And that we expanded Medicaid because we would definitely be worse, 50 in the list, and we're still not that good. We're one of the top 10 worst states for health care. Health care access, health care insurance, health care cost. One of the worst, one of the highest. That's where we're at in Oklahoma with conservative rule that we've had over the last 15 years. The other thing that makes it horrible for families and children is education. We have the 49th worst education system in the nation. And people like Ryan Walters are absolutely no help and are part of that problem. He's why we are 50th in the nation. Whenever you have anti-diversity, you don't want to be diverse. You don't want to have people in these companies being diverse. You don't want diverse skills. You don't want diverse backgrounds. You want them all to be cookie cutter the same. And this is where conservatives are at today. And that is why one of the things that's horrible for families. Not only that, we're one of the top crime states. We have one of the highest rates of violent crime in the nation is in Oklahoma, which is another reason why it's horrible for families to raise a family, to have kids here and to raise them. Poor education, poor health care, poor lunch programs, high crime. Yeah, why would and low GDP, so you can't even make any money to take care of your kids. And I know what they say. They were saying, hey, well, you know, Oklahoma's so affordable. So affordable you can live there. Well, you know what? That really isn't the case anymore. It's not. We have one of the higher rents going on right now in our general region since the pandemic, since people started moving here. A lot of people have moved to Oklahoma. It's caused a little bit of a housing crunch. Rents have gone way up. They really have. And just a couple of weeks ago, they came out saying the highest energy cost. Oklahoma, 6th highest in the nation for your utility bills. Why? Well, we know why. Conservative policy. Here you go. A.G. O'Connor, put in by Stitt, wasn't voted in, put in by Stitt, refused to defend the people of Oklahoma when OG&E and everybody else got fleeced by the middlemen who were selling the commodities at thousands of dollars per unit. And they got fleeced by that. And so they turned to the citizen, they turned to the state, say, we got to make these people pay this. Why should we have to put up, I mean, it's just their business. Why should they have to take the risk? And that's where we're at with conservatives who don't want to take the risk. That's so cowardly. That is. It really is. And one of the people on the board of OG&E happens to be our old mayor of Oklahoma City, Humphreys. Yeah, that guy, he's such a coward. He can't take a loss for anything. And so he doesn't. So what do? They raised our rates. You want to know why your electric bills are $300, $500, $600, $700 a month right now? John O'Connor and the guy sitting on the board of OG&E who got it all fleeced in there and paid off their people to get them what they wanted. Conservative policy. There you go. And conservative values too, if you want to talk about it even more. So here you go. One of the worst GDPs in the nation, 6th highest energy costs, and what do you know? Comes out again, 8th worst state to do business. Here you go, conservative red state, and it's horrible to do business in? That's almost unheard of. Why do you think we gave them right to work and all this other stuff? Well, right to work was more of a control issue. See, it's about controlling people. It's not really about the business and making sure businesses are easier to do business here. It's about power and control. See, it was never about businesses, because if it was, we wouldn't be the 8th worst to do business, to start a business. 8th worst to start a business. Well, this goes into a lot of factors besides right to work. It goes into factors calling like the GDP, the level of GDP here. There's not that much money here because you see the most important industry, petroleum, like Brock likes to say, they took it all. They took it all to Texas. So if you're not part of the most important industry, well, you're going to go broke. You're going to be 8th worst state in the nation when it comes to starting a business if it's not part of the most important industry. See, tiered constitutional system. There's those who are more privy to those on the lower rungs. And that's exactly what they feel about it. It's how they feel about it. It's what they believe. This is conservative politics. This is conservative policy, conservative values. There you go. 8th worst for business. 2nd worst health care. We've talked about that. 5th highest gun violence. This goes in with crime. And when you're high crime, that's why it was with the family and everything else. Family and all that stuff. Worst place to have a family. 5th highest in gun violence. Here you go. We are a constitutional carry state. Every Second Amendment sanctuary, and this is what you get. Because you see, when you don't have regulations on things, anybody can get them. And that's what they wanted. That's conservative policy. Anyone can have a gun. Anyone. And if you're crazy or if you're a felon or anything else, you probably shouldn't have it, but we'll have loopholes that will help protect you because we're a Second Amendment sanctuary state. So of course it's going to have some of the highest gun violence. Of course it is. That's just a statistical anomaly. That's just how it is. That's what you get with conservative politics. That's what you get with conservative policy. We are at the bottom of these lists. Healthcare, women, kids, raising a family, crime, GDP, having a business. All of that. There you go. That's Oklahoma right there. Top 10 state, only if you're counting from the bottom. That's how that works. So when you see Kevin Stitt out there go, we're top 10 state, we're not even close. That's all just pillow talk. He's full of shit. He's conning you. We're not even close. And it's all because of Republican conservative rule of 15 years. There's no Democrat that has done this. This isn't liberal policy that has instituted any of this. We haven't had a Democratic leader in a statewide office for nearly 15 years. We haven't had Democrats control the legislature nearly as long. So this is all due to conservative Republican rule. Yeah. This is Kit Fairchild with Across the Desk, and we will see you next week.